I spoke in this chamber on Monday about the events in Caulfield and about the events in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. There was no qualification whatsoever in my condemnation. And I have spoken since to people including the Israeli ambassador, Gillian Siegel, this morning, Moshe Khan, the rabbi from Balaclava in the electorate of McNamara, from that community, sent me a message of saying thank you for speaking out so clearly and so unequivocally. So to come in here and move this resolution and link anti-Semitism with the decision of the High Court is beyond contempt. Beyond contempt. This is the same political party
the member for Fairfax
that tried to repeal Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act. And I stood with Peter Wertheim and other members of the Jewish community at that time. The Executive Council of the Australian Jury said this: that would be the worst possible message to send at a time of increasing fear, insecurity and polarisation. It would be a serious abrogation of principled leadership by government, and indeed it was, which is why it was defeated. They failed to deliver the religious discrimination bill. They moved in here, and when an amendment was passed to carry anti-vilification provisions, they voted against it and trashed their own legislation before it was passed. I make no apologies for standing up against anti-Semitism, and I will do it unequivocally, as I have, as someone who led a campaign against a councillor in my own electorate, against the BDS campaign, I think 2 decades ago. I have a track record on this, and I'm proud of it. But I also have a track record of standing up for the rights and for justice of Palestinian people. And I make no apologies for being a consistent supporter of a two-state solution. And I make no apologies for trying to bring communities together, not divide them, because that's the role of political leaders. And at a time when there is social division, leaders have a choice. They have a choice to either bring people together or divide them, to either look for unity or look for opportunism. And what we have seen from this bloke here is consistent with his entire political career has been based upon division between
the member for Groom will cease ejecting.
Now, Jewish Australians are fearful at the moment.
O'Connor.
The sort of activity that is occurring is scaring them, and I stand with them. No one should threaten people because of their religion or their race in this country. But it is also the case that Arab Australians and Islamic Australians and women wearing hijabs in the streets of Sydney and Melbourne are being threatened, and I stand against that as well. The idea of selective human rights is one that I stand against. So I'm opposed to any innocent life being lost, whether it be as a result of the terrorism of Hamas in Israel, those dreadful occasions. Dreadful occasions.
The member for Barker will cease ejecting.
Innocent babies, I'm against being killed in Gaza. We have responsibilities as a democratic nation to say that democratic nations must stand up, consistent with the international rule of law. And that is something that I have done and will consistently do. That's something that I will have meetings on in APEC at San Francisco. I stand up for Israel's right to defend itself. I've done that consistently. I also say how it does it matters. And I say that we need to care for all civilians.